have Joanne Callan from Destination Wellbeing.
Good morning, Rob.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah.
We're a wee bit subdued this morning, I think, because of the weather.
I think the weather has everybody a bit.
Yeah.
I suppose for me, it's more the appreciation of what I was fine last night.
Yeah. But did you hear wind last night?
Heard lots of wind, yeah.
I heard lots of wind. I had the greatest wind last night, not personally, but the greatest wind. Sean, would you stick the wedge under that door? It's rattling and it's putting me off. Don't like the door when it rattles. Stop rattling, door. We need peacefulness of mind.
Yeah.
But all through last night, I never heard wind like it in Warren Point. And if it would take the big trawler in the dock, it would push it out. Look, and you hear bong, the trawler hitting the thing, you know. But you were okay, you didn't hear any of it.
No, I heard wind, and I did hear it. Yeah, I heard it. But I suppose I was safe and secure and well, and it wasn't too bad. But when you hear of other parts of the country, I mean, they've been really badly battered, and then
I was very cozy, I have to say. Yeah. Do you use an electric blanket?
Oh, good God, no! I would lose my life.
Would you? What would that mean? Why do you lose your life with an electric blanket?
It would just be way too warm. I couldn't.
No, but you put it on first of all, and then you switch it.
No. I like getting into a cold bed. And
you're a halcyon woman. You are. You're a Valkyrie.
Yeah,
you're a person who
not.
charges forth and strong.
No, I would be.
My goodness.
Couldn't cope with an electric blanket.
I'm a total wimp. I have an electric blanket, and I put it on, and I get very cozy, and so it's all great, you know. It's all good.
I think I suppose that's a metaphor for life, isn't it? We're all different, and everybody.
We are different indeed. I wouldn't always have used an electric blanket. When I was younger, I wouldn't have needed it, you know.
Well,
yeah. And then there's the famous 13-tog duvet. Yeah. I said, one of the things about a duvet, all the stuff, the duct, it all goes to the bottom, and you've got to shake it back to the top again. Does that happen in all duvets?
No, I think just natural. I mean, the likes of duck down and things like that, where the feathers can displace and sort of fall down as, I suppose it's gravity, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
the bit that's over you is going to fall down below that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, polyester duvets and things like that.
Oh, one wouldn't use a polyester.
No, but there are lots of them out there, yeah.
Really? Because the duck needs to be plucked. Because if it'll grow, his hair will grow and grow, and it'll become a camel if you don't pluck the feathers off the duck.
But I suppose there are people with allergies and things like that that would need to use.
would need that.
More natural or more synthetic fibres.
This week I got myself, because you're very much into beautiful fragrances and things like that, I got myself a shaving thing, stuff you put on after shaving, aftershave. And I saw this thing, it reminded me of my boyhood when I started to shave. It's called Old Spice. And I got it. And I used it. And the smell brought me back all the years to my student days in Belfast, when before you would go out to the hop or you'd go to the Students' Union, you'd bucket the stuff on you, and you thought you were the bee's knees. But the one thing on the bottle, it used to have a lovely ship on the bottle, a full 3-master ocean-going ship, a drawing of it. They've taken that off and they put a kind of a squiggle on it.
Oh, no.
We lose the plot, don't we?
But I think that's one of the things, it's one of the big things about keeping memory is stimulating the olfactory bulb for smell.
Yeah.
Because memory and smell are so closely related.
Yeah.
The parts of our brain that control both memory and smell are so closely related.
There was a lovely evocative tweet yesterday from Declan McChesney, who had just returned from Argentina. And he said, "Home, the wheaten bread is toasted and warm, the tea is out, and the bread is buttered." Yeah. They talk about evocative. Boys, that took... Yeah. And I wouldn't be much one for eating bread, but...
but it's hard to beat some wheaten bread with real butter.
With real butter. And you're sitting there,
real butter.
And you're looking at the fire, and you're drinking it and whatever. Yeah, it's all good. But, so what kind of things have you been doing all week?
Well, a big mix of stuff this week. We had an event last week for Women's Aid. So
how did that go? Because we talked about it.
Yes, went very good. We had, I suppose, in terms of raising awareness around chemicals and skincare and stuff like that, it's a growing area of interest, and one that I hope to keep focusing on. So hopefully the next time we do an event, the numbers will be bigger. But we had about 12 women there who all have daughters, who all, the message gets spread out, so that helps it to grow. But everybody found it very interesting, very informative.
And were they people? Were they clients of Women's Aid, or were they visitors to Women's Aid?
No, they were just supporters. Just
supporters,
people who there were actually quite a few of them were sort of people that would be social media followers of mine and wanted to find out a wee bit more information. So it was a lovely evening, really interesting evening. So that was last week. This
it made
week,
a few bob for hospice as well, didn't it? Or what? No, for Women's Aid. Women's Aid, yeah.
And then the rest of this week has been pretty busy with workshops and relaxation. Lots of children's relaxation going on this week. So,
you ever get fed up with it?
No, I love it.
You love it? Yeah. How long are you doing it now?
Full time, I suppose. I always would have done bits part time and voluntary and stuff like that. So that's gone on about 7 years. But as a full time thing, I suppose it's 8 months, 9 months.
Don't you worry, daughter. If it doesn't go well, you can go back to making the coffee.
That's it. Yeah,
that's what she started as. She was a coffee maker.
Coffee maker, yeah.
She was indeed. We used to have, talking about smells and evocative smells, there used to be a place in Newry many years ago, Quinn's the Milestone, and there was a grill on the wall that faced onto the Mall, and once or twice a week they would roast the coffee beans, and the aroma would be pumped out onto the Mall. And I remember in my younger days having this amazing joy of imbibing the lovely smell of the coffee.
Yeah. I mean, I don't drink tea or coffee, but I absolutely love the smell of coffee.
It's nice indeed. It's nice indeed.
And then other times it can be quite horrific, depending on how clean the machine is. Somebody gets coffee out.
Yeah, it can be terrible
very
at
bitter
times.
And rancid and strong.
I think, it's very hard to know just, when you get a good coffee, you know it's good. And when you get a bad coffee, you know it's bad.
Yes.
And those not completely confident will have the opinion, maybe it's me, maybe I should like that, but it's really crap.
Yeah, it's actually the coffee. And a lot of the times, not really the coffee, a lot of the times it's the cleanliness of the machine and things like that.
That's the thing there.
That's the key bit. So, and then our show this week is on sound therapy.
See, what is it?
Sound therapy.
Sound therapy.
Yeah.
Let's start. That was nice.
Yeah. That's,
can you make bowls sing?
Well, I can't, but the lady who joined me today can. Who's joining me today can, and she does a beautiful experience, which I had the pleasure of joining her for a few weeks ago, which is a sound bath.
A sound. Oh, so everything's around you.
Yes, the sound. It's a room.
Yeah.
Generally, a yoga studio or a room sort of set up in that format, and so I suppose it's a communal bath is the idea behind it. Well, people kind of one-to-one treatments as well, but the idea of the sound bath is that it can be done in a group, which, as Tess explains today, helps make it quite affordable for people because you're doing it in a group session. And then you have various different sounds, so gongs, Tibetan singing bowls, crystal bowls, shakers,
rain
triangles, rain machine. A mix of sounds that resonate and vibrate within our body to activate its own healing abilities. So
I like the concept. I just like the sound.
I like the sound of it as well. When I heard about it, I thought that sounds really quite a nice experience.
And the physicality of the room. What is the room? Slightly darkened, or is it coloured?
Yeah, I mean, generally it would be. It would lend itself to creating a nice, relaxing atmosphere. So you would have it darkened, blankets, yoga mats.
Lovely.
That type of an environment. And again, children really respond quite well to it because there's something very soothing about sound and our own vibration. So that's today's show.
I had the joy this week of being invited to a very, very special event. Last Friday. And I'm going to recommend to you that you make contact with these people. It's the Mary Goretti Foundation. It's a new children's respite centre at Lordship.
Lordship. I passed it the other day and I actually thought to myself, that's the exact, Mum and I were out in driving from Carniford to Fahard on Sunday, and I passed it, and I thought, I must make contact.
Yeah. Will you ring? I will give you her number, Caroline Hanlon, of the Hanlon transport people.
Yes.
Now the story is wonderful, and I write about it in my column next week. I cannot remember ever having shed a tear until last Friday. That's through deaths and everything else. But last Friday, I saw these youngsters, there's only maybe 3 of them, in electric wheelchairs with their little coterie family around them, coming along to go through the just opened doors of the new Mary Goretti Centre. And following the children was the great, powerful, and quite a lovely man actually, Archbishop of Armagh, the new man, Martin, Eamon Martin. And behind them, as I say in the writing, came the tough and hard men, the capped men of Cooley, walking like lambs behind a mountain ewe. And the children were willing the wheelchair to go faster to get in. And the centre exists because of dear John Hanlon. And John died 3-4 years ago. And I remember meeting him. I did 2 nationwide programs with him. And for the last one, he got out of bed for the first time in 3 months to do the program. And he came in the wheelchair into the parlour in the home at Much Grange. And I said, John, how are you? He says, Rowan, everything's wrong, from the top of my head to the tip of my toes. Poor John had motor neuron disease. But in his dying time, he was doing 2 things. He was figuring out with his family how they would help me build my schools in Africa, and they've done that. And at the same time, he was making it possible for the centre to open. And I just thought of you when I saw it, and I thought you would be great there, doing your things and all the rest of it.
Definitely.
Huge thing.
Well, the thought struck me as I passed.
Isn't that,
on
that's
Sunday,
great?
so,
Yeah, they're great people, beautiful people.
Excellent.
And
it's interesting that you should mention Nationwide, because Nationwide had a programme on last night on relaxation for children and mindfulness for children. So
yeah.
it was quite.
No, they're all good people. So take me back to the sound therapy. I once actually Nationwide again. I once did I was healing bowls where I was laid down in a country cottage on a mat, and a woman I was surrounded by boom, and she put it over me here and over me, and if it went if it went then there's something wrong with me there, and it was great. It was very easy.
It's a lovely, really, really lovely experience. And
are you going to do it in the studio?
Yes, we will. Well, I'll not, because that might be a bit of a disaster. But Tessa will play some bowls. Yeah. But I'm not sure how well the sounds will pick up, obviously, over camera, because it's as much the sound as the vibration of the sound when you're around it. But certainly when I experienced it a few weeks ago in the sound bath environment, and I just thought the idea of that, Tessa's company is actually the Sound Healing Spa. Yeah. And I thought that just all
Where is she based?
So nice. Belfast.
Belfast girl. Yeah.
But hopefully in the next couple of weeks, months, we'll organise a sound bath in Newry. So
that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it should be a lovely. I really, really enjoyed it. And a very deep sense of relaxation from experiencing it.
Because we were joking at the beginning, chanting. Yeah. But there is something lovely about chanting.
And again, it's the vibration that it creates within the body
absolutely.
that can release. Absolutely. I mean, even when I'm getting the little ones to take deep breaths in, to get the concept of breathing out, I'll get them to make an O with their lips.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And not so much from an OM perspective, but just to get the O out with their lips so that they can notice the out breath. And the giggles and the laughs that ensue with it, because their lips start to get tingly and numb, and their chest starts to vibrate, and then they get louder and louder and louder, and they really seem to benefit from that. So,
so this all your journey and all of this. Where did you go to school, by the way, in Newry? Were you Sacred Heart? No, you're by Paul's.
St. Paul's.
Paul's, yeah. And at what stage in your life did you start to feel drawn to this holistic healing?
It has always been there. I mean, my first memory of using essential oils or aromatherapy oils is doing my 11 plus
My God.
And using rosemary and lavender for concentration and relaxation. So I suppose it has always been, I grew up with it at home.
Yeah.
And I suppose I maybe took it on another stage and on another level.
Yeah.
But it's always been there, I think.
Yeah,
as
that's
an
good.
interest.
That's good.
Yeah.
So tomorrow's Valentine's Day.
Yes, tomorrow's Valentine's.
What are you doing special for Valentine's Day?
Oh God, I haven't even thought that far yet. But
Is the big dinner organised?
Dinner? No, not as yet. No,
Not as yet?
It'll be,
Well, he'll surprise you then.
well,
With a
we'll
bit of
see
luck.
about that. We might have to find him first.
I would say they'd be queued up for you. They would follow. It would be like the Bisto sizzle, you know, where you follow the smell, the beautiful fragrance.
We'll have to find him first, I think.
Yeah.
So,
That'll.
but yes, it'll be a nice, relaxing.
Yeah, but it's a daft concept, I think.
Yeah,
Valentine's Day.
I mean, yes, I'm joking and
People
saying
go
we
in
have
and
to
buy
find
these
him, but even
cards,
if
this
I
size
find
here.
him, I don't think that necessarily.
You wouldn't want it, yeah.
No, I think it's,
You'd want him to write you a poem rather than buy you a card.
And does one day? I mean, you know, it's
One
a
day, it has
Hallmark
to be
day,
all the time.
does it?
It's like Mother's Days and Father's Days.
It's
you know,
it's nice maybe to remember it if it's remembered in the true essence of it. But if anybody, and I'm sure there's plenty out there that the card will be bought for the sake of it more than the sentiment.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's like people. The cards are like that, aren't they? Whether the Christmas card, best wishes for Christmas. No one takes the trouble to get a blank card and to write the message.
Or just to send a card randomly.
Yeah.
At a different time of year
I
when
was
there's no
thinking
obligation.
of you today. I don't know why I was thinking of you today, but it was a nice moment, and I wanted you to know that it was nice.
Which is, to me, is more precious and more genuine than
of course.
I need to write this stack of Christmas cards because I have to write them because somebody somewhere said that they had to be written, or I need to send,
good.
Birthdays for me, I think, are a sort of a nice kind of special time, but the rest of them can sort of fall by the wayside.
That sounds all right.
Happens, yeah.
That sounds all right.
But I think the sentiment, obviously, of love and appreciation, and all of that are all good. They just get lost up in commercialism. But.
Yeah, and that's the commercialism is perhaps the thin end of a wedge that destroys love eventually.
Yeah.
Because people go for they lose sight of the deep inner good that folk have. If they don't have the right kind of color of hair, eyes, or the change, or if they're no longer as strong as they used to be, I think those are elements that should cherish and enhance love rather than diminish it. But unfortunately, society seems to diminish love as one changes.
Yeah, and I suppose the other side of it is that as a human nature has always followed rituals and had different things. So it's how we balance the two in terms of having set times when we do set things and we have rituals around that, and not getting caught up with the commercialism so that it diminishes the emotion.
Let's try and figure something for the program in the morning that isn't commercial, but gives expression to the concept of love. I think that would be good. Yeah. That would be good. So, remind the people now what time you're on and what's on today, and then off you go.
Yes, that's me off for a busy day today. A mix of a day today. I have some people with Alzheimer's that I'm working with this afternoon, and this morning I have some young girls who are 14, 15.
Wow. I think I'm pre-Alzheimer's. A funny thing happened to me yesterday. I was telling the story here about Shirley Temple dying, and I was distracted ever so momentarily. And I said, and the death has occurred of Shirley Bassey. Talk about it. That's definitely a senior moment. It's nonsense.
Or just distraction.
Just distraction. Put it down to just distraction.
Yes, today. So Destination Wellbeing then this afternoon at 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
And we'll be talking sound and how a sound healing experience can help to release physical and emotional pain. Or that's certainly what's reported from people who have experienced it. So.
I'm going to play you now, or Sean's going to play you, Eliza Gilkinson, Calling All Angels.
Oh, lovely.
So that's for you.
Very nice. Thank you.
Sean.